If you feel behind in life, you are not behind reality. You are behind your own expectations. Not because your goals are wrong, but because your timeline was borrowed from others, measured by illusions, not by law. And now you sit in silence, judging your progress by shadows that were never yours. But hear me. This is the hour you must stop, because every day you compare, you delay. Every day you say, I should be further, you kill the very strength that would have carried you forward. You are not behind in life. You are simply overdue for obedience, and once you obey the right voice, everything will begin to shift. You must understand what is at stake. This is not just your frustration. It is your family's future. Your children will not inherit what you intended. They will inherit what you tolerated. If you delay, they will pay. If you drift, they will suffer. If you excuse yourself, they will carry your regret. But if you listen now, truly listen, and obey the instruction in this speech, everything changes. Your family will be protected. Your finances will rise. Your children will witness a man who finishes what he begins. And your house will be built on faith, not fear. Because every idea you hear in the next hour has power. But you must choose what to do with it. You can reject it. You can dismiss it, or you can examine it. And if it will benefit you, you must act on it. Whether it feels familiar or not, stop asking. Does this sound like what I already believe? That is not the question. The only question is, will this idea improve my life? If yes, implement it immediately, because delay is betrayal. And the man who delays the truth invites defeat. If you do not listen with full attention, you may stay trapped another year. But if you let these ideas pass into your mind and act upon them with decision, you will never again feel behind. You will be ahead of your former self, and that is all that matters. Now listen like your life depends on it, because it does. Listen like your children depend on it, because they do. Listen with the intent to transform, and let this be the last day you ever apologize to yourself for where you are. Let us begin. Introduction. The clock is lying to you, so you believe you're behind. Behind what? Behind whom? I say you are behind nothing but your own imagination. The world did not vote you late. There is no universal clock keeping score. There is only the rhythm of your mind, and that rhythm can change the hour at once. The moment you choose definiteness, the clock obeys you. What men call late, infinite intelligence calls unready. The universe does not reward you for moving on time. It rewards you for moving with faith. The only timeline that matters is the one written in decision, backed by belief, and made real through immediate action. The world has taught you to compare, to measure your progress by numbers, by birthdays, by titles, by other men's illusions. But let me tell you plainly, comparison is the thief of faith. You were not born to match a man. You were born to master your own direction. Every man has an hour where his mind awakens. That hour may come at 16. It may come at 60. But when it comes, that is when life truly begins. Not before, not by luck, but the moment you say, this is the direction I shall go, and I shall not turn back. You are not late. You are idle. The minutes have not betrayed you. The years have not cursed you. You simply have not chosen, clearly, emotionally, and persistently. And because you have not commanded your purpose, time has not revealed your reward. It is not time you lack. It is motion. It is intention. It is faith mixed with decision, and decision mixed with action. And I say again, the world does not obey age. It obeys definiteness. Set your foot on your path, and everything that seemed late will arrive right on schedule. Consider my own journey. I was not born a writer. I did not begin with clarity. I wandered. I doubted. I waited. For years I walked through delay and obscurity. But the day I accepted Andrew Carnegie's challenge, to devote my life to organizing the philosophy of success, I began to command time. It took me over 20 years to refine the laws of success, and still I battled doubt. I struggled financially. I lived in the shadows. But I tell you, every step, every delay, every detour, it was the price of preparation. And preparation is never wasted when it is moved by purpose. You must understand the law. When the mind is definite, the universe reorganizes. When thought is sustained by purpose, time must yield. You create your moment. You choose your beginning. You determine when life will start to reward you. And that power lies in thought backed by belief. The only force that makes you feel behind is drift. Drift is the silent current that pulls men away from their purpose. Drift looks like delay. It looks like indecision. It feels like stagnation. But it is not time that has failed you. It is your refusal to plant a definite command in your mind. In Outwitting the Devil, I explained that drift is the devil's most potent weapon. It feeds on comparison, on fear of criticism, on false timelines, and on the belief that purpose must arrive when the world approves. But the truth is, you stop drifting the day you begin deciding. You may not have chosen the years that have passed, but you can choose the hour that begins now. And this hour, if filled with purpose, can redeem the years that felt lost. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are simply standing still until this moment. Write this upon your mind. I am not late. I am deciding now. What I create with definiteness, I create on time. My hour is chosen by my mind, not by the world. These are not affirmations for inspiration. They are mental commands. And if you repeat them daily with intensity, with emotion, with faith, they will become the new rhythm of your life. And that rhythm will bring you into harmony with everything you once thought was too late. Do not argue with the clock. Command it. Do not debate with time. Transcend it. You were not born to be governed by seconds. You were born to direct them. And you do this not by effort alone, but by clarity of aim, mixed with belief, enforced by action. You will see other men who seem ahead. Let them run. You are not racing against them. You are racing against your own drift. You are defeating your own hesitation. And if you win that battle, you will never again feel behind. Let the clock say what it will. Let the world declare its calendar. But let your mind say, this is the moment I begin. That moment is today. That hour is now. And your reward will match the definiteness with which you command it. Now shall we continue? Let the next part begin. For your future is already waiting for your decision. Part 1. No one is coming to rescue you. You wait for a hand. You wait for someone to call your name. You wait for permission. But I tell you now, no one is coming. Not because they do not care, but because it is not their role. The laws of success were not built for handouts. They were built for the man who awakens himself. Every man must arrive at the hour when he ceases to blame, ceases to expect, and ceases to ask, why not me? He begins instead to say, if it is to be, it is up to me. And that moment, though silent, is thunderous, because when a man takes full responsibility, the law begins to serve him. You believe you need saving, but you do not need saving. You need awareness. You need to see that the ladder you keep waiting to be lowered from the sky was always beneath your feet. And you climb it not with hope, but with habit. No title, no family, no friend, no employer, no system owes you success. Success does not care who your father was. It does not ask where you came from. It looks only for one thing, the man who has built within himself the capacity to receive it. I tell you this with absolute certainty. No one will do your becoming for you. No man will wake up your mind. No man will shape your belief. No man will persist in your place. The tools have been placed before you, and now you must use them. Let me remind you of the great Abraham Lincoln, raised in obscurity, mocked for his manner, defeated in elections time and again. He had every reason to fold, but no rescuer appeared. He became his own. He decided, if the cause is mine, the decision is mine also. Think of Edison. He did not wait for science to agree. He did not beg the professors to validate him. He dared to light the world through unreasoned belief. And it was only when he moved without applause, without rescue, without evidence, that the results began to obey him. The world celebrates results, but it forgets the roots. Those roots are built through personal initiative. It is one of the greatest principles in the law of success. The man who begins, who solves, who pushes, who starts even without perfect plans, he becomes the magnet of opportunity. Your redemption, your comeback, your rise is not found in rescue. It is found in initiative. You must say aloud, "This day I begin." And that declaration must be made each morning until your actions become too powerful to be ignored. Let it be known, the only one who can stop my delay is me, not the job, not the town, not the past, not the family, not the economy, not the missed opportunity, only you. And the moment you accept this truth, you cease to beg. You begin to build. Yes, temporary defeat may have come. I know it well. I have tasted it. I have walked it. I have feared it. But hear me when I tell you, temporary defeat is not permanent failure. It is merely life asking, "Are you sure?" And if your answer is yes, you must rise again. There is no honor in waiting. There is no reward for indecision. The universe has given you one supreme gift, your mind. And it is through your mind, through your thought, through your daily mental command that you rescue your own future. Stop waiting to be invited. Invite yourself. Stop waiting for reassurance. Reassure yourself. Speak aloud the words that will form your new rhythm. I do not drift. I command my direction. I obey my purpose. There is a voice inside of you that has been whispering, "More is possible," but you have drowned it with noise. You have postponed it with comfort. You have told it to wait until the world notices. But the world will notice only after you decide to never wait again. Let us be clear. The only delay you suffer from is internal. You are not behind the man beside you. You are behind the man within you. And that man is waiting for your permission to emerge. So here is the command. This day I begin. Say it until it replaces your doubt. Say it until it makes you rise without hesitation. Say it until your actions match your desires, and your life begins to obey your instruction. No one will choose for you. But the moment you choose for yourself, the entire law of success begins to bend in your direction. Why? Because life does not reward wishes. It rewards definiteness. And that definiteness starts not with luck, but with your first personal decision to act. So stand up, begin, no more waiting, no more whispers. Say it aloud again. This day I begin. This day I reject excuses. This day I stop waiting for someone else to make me who I am. Because the man who is behind in life only needs one day of obedience to begin catching up. And that day is today. Part 2. Delay is a seed, not a curse. Most men believe delay is failure, but delay is not rejection. It is refinement. It is preparation. It is the classroom of those chosen to carry weight. Life does not withhold from you to hurt you. It withholds to prepare you to hold what you once could not bear. What you call wasted time was not waste at all. It was spiritual soil. You were being rooted, not ruined, and the deeper the root, the greater the structure. Delay is not punishment. It is permission to become stronger than your former self. Think of the seed. It does not sprout on command. It does not care for deadlines or comparison. It waits for the soil to warm. It waits for the light to reach it. And then, without apology, it breaks open. So must you. Your delay is not death, it is dormancy. In Outwitting the Devil, I taught that with every adversity there comes the seed of an equal or greater benefit. But few see the seed because they curse the soil. They pray for the bloom without blessing the darkness. They want fruit without fire. But listen to me now. Delay is not the enemy. Indecision is. Delay will feed you if you prepare through it. Delay will build you if you believe through it. Delay will reveal the way, but only if you use it to strengthen your definiteness, not abandon it. Look at the life of Colonel Sanders. He began building his empire past the age of 60. He had been ignored, passed over, dismissed, but he used delay as his anvil. And when he moved with power that only time could give. Or consider Rockefeller. Quiet, slow, methodical. He did not rush. He did not panic. He used time like a weapon. While others chased noise, he prepared silently. And when the moment came, he was ready because he had not resisted the season of delay. You think you're late? You're not late. You are arriving. You are awakening. The waiting season was not a curse. It was your calling, disguised in silence. And now that you know it, you can stop complaining about it and start commanding through it. Say this with me now. Delay is preparation misnamed. What seemed like waiting was becoming. Every moment unseen was feeding my root. If the world had given you everything you wanted when you wanted it, you would have been crushed. You would have wasted it. You would have drifted from purpose and called it success. But God delayed you to develop you. And now the question is this: what will you do with what you've learned in the quiet? Will you waste it by retreating into shame, or will you use it as fuel and rise with a deeper fire than ever before? Because the man who rises from delay is a different kind of man. He does not panic. He does not chase. He walks. He moves. He builds with awareness. He does not beg for the fruit. He commands it with his preparation. You are not cursed. You are called. You are not punished. You are planted. And now you must emerge, not with doubt, but with dominion, not with apology, but with authority. Write this in your heart. Delay did not deny me. It defined me. I am not behind. I was becoming. And now that I know the truth, I rise. From this day forward, you do not complain about lost time. You redeem it. You use it. You draw from it. You let it feed your next move with power. Because delay does not destroy the prepared. It equips him. And now that you are prepared, the season has shifted. The door has opened. The world is watching. And you must walk forward like a man who knows that every minute built him for this. Part 3. Burning desire can still be ignited. You believe the fire is gone. You believe your time passed, that the spark you once felt has been smothered by delay, by duty, by discouragement. But I tell you this, desire does not die of time. It only dies of indecision. And if you choose now, you can ignite it again. Burning desire is not a gift of youth. It is not a byproduct of energy or chance. It is the product of thought, of will, of decision. It can be kindled in a young man, yes, but it burns brightest in the man who has tasted what failure costs and who refuses to leave the world as he found it. If you say, "It's too late for me," what you really mean is, "I have chosen to let go of my desire." But the truth is, you never had to let go. You only had to aim it again, fan it again, and if necessary, set fire to the old excuses that told you you couldn't. Go back to the first principle of Think and Grow Rich. Not faith, not planning, not action, desire. I wrote that. Desire is the starting point of all achievement. Not luck, not timing. Desire. And if you still want it, even if quietly, you are not finished. You do not need a calendar to validate your dream. You need decision. A man may waste 20 years and redeem them in a single act of burning clarity. If your fire feels small, it is because you stopped feeding it. Start again, speak again, move again, fan it again. Let me remind you of Edwin C. Barnes. He was not rich, he had no credentials, but he made one decision. I will become the business partner of Thomas Edison. And he said it not with logic, but with fire. He repeated it. He wrote it. He acted on it, and it became so. You may have doubted your fire because the world ignored it. But the world does not give permission to desire. It tests it. And only the man who refuses to quit, whose desire becomes a command, is allowed to make it real. If your fire is weak, speak louder. If your dream feels distant, step closer. If your past mocked your effort, let your future answer back. Because desire was not designed to be a wish. It was designed to be a weapon. Here is what I command you to do today. Write your definite chief aim. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Write it in present tense. Describe your desired outcome. Attach a deadline. Write what you will give in return. Read it aloud twice daily, every morning, every night, until it burns. Burning desire is fed by repetition. That is how the subconscious accepts it. And once it accepts it, it builds the blueprint to make it real, not by magic, not by chance, but by faith-backed action. You say you're tired? Good. Use it. You say you've been waiting? Then stop. You say you're older now? Even better. You have seen what you do not want. Now focus your entire force upon what you do and burn everything else to the ground. Say these words aloud now. Say them with force. I do not need time. I need fire. My desire is not old. It is eternal. The world bows to a man on fire. You have been afraid of wanting too much, afraid that wanting more will only hurt you again. But the truth is, not wanting is the greater pain. A man who does not want nothing has nothing. But the man whose desire is definite becomes magnetic. Stop waiting for emotion. Stop waiting to feel ready. Desire is not a feeling, it is a choice. You either permit it or suppress it. And now that you know this, you are responsible for what happens next. You have not missed your chance. You have only missed your decision. And decision, when mixed with desire, becomes power. And that power builds wealth, influence, freedom, peace, and legacy. Everything you truly want. So now I ask you, will you write your chief aim? Will you repeat it daily? Will you act on it regardless of fear? Will you reject the belief that it's too late and replace it with, it's finally time? Because I assure you, if you do, the world will not remember your delays. It will remember your result. And your result will come not from where you've been, but from what you do today. Burning desire is not an accident. It is a decision. And your entire life, your finances, your family, your health, your freedom, waits for you to decide. Part 4, fear of time is a form of drifting. The man who fears time has already lost control of his thought. He no longer governs his imagination. He is governed by it. And I tell you, time is not chasing you. You are chasing shadows. You do not fear being behind. You fear what others might think if they see you beginning late. That fear is not real. It is the whisper of the enemy called drift. In Outwitting the Devil, I expose the true source of mediocrity. Not sin, not failure, not lack of intelligence. It is drift, the invisible enemy, the silent killer, the slow erosion of definiteness. Drift is subtle. It makes a man look busy while remaining directionless. It wraps fear in logic and delay in distraction. And worst of all, it masquerades as wisdom. When you say, I should be further by now, who told you that? Who set that timeline? Who defined that pace? I will tell you who. A world lost in comparison. A world that confuses motion with meaning. A world that praises speed, but not accuracy. That world is drifting, and it wants you to drift with it. But you, my friend, must think accurately. You must separate what appears true from what is true. Because here is the fact. You are not late. You are undirected. That is not a curse. It is a correction. And the moment you choose definiteness of purpose, time becomes irrelevant. Drifting whispers, why try now? You're too far behind. But accurate thinking shouts, why not now? What better time exists than the one you command? Drift says, people your age are already ahead. But definiteness replies, no one can outrun a man who walks in the right direction. Let me tell you the truth about time. It does not compound regret. It compounds decision. If you decide now, even after 10 years of delay, you will activate a force greater than 10 years of regret. That force is known as the law of cosmic habit force, and it rewards movement, not memory. Drift causes a man to delay not because he is incapable, but because he is unwilling to think for himself. He waits for validation. He watches others. He asks permission from the voices that never built anything of substance. And all the while, his power dies in silence. But the man who conquers drift commands himself. He does not compare. He does not pace his growth by another man's pace. He says, "What I build is mine, and the time I build it in is right on time." He does not fear the calendar. He uses it like a hammer. Let me remind you of Henry Ford. He was ridiculed for building a car the average man could afford. They said he was late to the market. They said he was foolish. He paid no attention. He was too busy building. And what came from that definiteness? A revolution. You may say, "But I drifted too long." I say, you drifted just long enough to recognize its danger. Most men never see drift. They mistake it for comfort. You, on the other hand, have seen it clearly. That makes you powerful if you act now. Do not let your past delays become your future beliefs. What has passed was not your timeline. It was your training ground. What you thought was wasted was simply ungoverned thought. But now that you have seized your mind, you must seize the moment. And let me be clear, you are not in competition with anyone. The man who runs in another lane is not your concern. You do not owe success to the world's idea of progress. You owe success to the one law that governs all gain, definiteness of purpose applied daily. Here is how you kill drift. Write your definite chief aim. Repeat it aloud morning and night. Act toward it daily, whether you feel like it or not. Refuse to think about what others are doing. Measure only by one rule. Am I moving in the direction of my aim? Do this for 30 days and watch how fast the illusion of being behind disappears. Because the truth is, you were never behind. You were only drifting. And drift ends when thought is governed by faith, decision, and action. Say these words aloud. Repeat them often. I think accurately. Therefore, I move rightly. I do not compare, I command. Drift ends the moment I choose. And make this your daily mental command. Stop thinking of what is past. Start thinking of what I desire. Because if you feed your mind what you desire, it will feed back to you what to do. But if you feed your mind what you fear, it will drown your initiative and multiply your delay. So the choice is now before you. Will you obey your past or your purpose? Will you listen to the lies of time or the truth of definiteness? Will you think for yourself or be thought for by a drifting world? The man who chooses definiteness breaks the chain. He sets his own pace. He burns the false timeline. He releases comparison. And he becomes the man the world watches instead of the man watching the world. Let the voice of doubt be silenced now. Let the fear of being late be buried now. And let the truth echo in your mind. I was not late. I was lost. But now I have chosen direction. And direction makes time my servant. Now let us continue, because what follows is the bridge between your thought and your transformation. Part 5. Your subconscious obeys new orders. The most dangerous belief a man can hold is this: I am behind. For when that thought is repeated, the subconscious accepts it as law. And once accepted, it becomes a governor on every effort, a chain on every motion, and a shadow on every success. But what is believed can be replaced. The subconscious will obey any new order, if that order is spoken with faith. In Think and Grow Rich, I taught that the subconscious mind does not reason. It does not ask whether a thought is true. It simply receives the repeated instruction and builds your reality from that belief. Therefore, if you have been telling yourself you are too late, that the time is past, that you have fallen behind, then you are not being held back by truth. You are being held back by your instruction. A man becomes what he repeatedly says to himself, whether he knows it or not. If he says, I am tired, he becomes tired. If he says, I never follow through, he becomes that. If he says, it's too late for me, then every part of his being conspires to prove that statement correct. But here is the glory of this law. It works just as powerfully in reverse. If you begin to say, I begin now, I am ready, I act in obedience to my purpose, then that same subconscious mechanism will reorganize your beliefs, habits, and identity to match. And though the change is invisible at first, if you persist in the declaration, it becomes law. Understand this clearly. You have never been late. You have only been obedient to the wrong suggestion. You did not fall behind the world. You fell behind your purpose. And you did so by repeating unworthy thoughts in silence. But that silence must end now. Let me give you your weapon. Speak these words aloud, not passively, but with authority. I am ready now. I am not late. I am not tired. I am here. I begin. And again, I repeat truth. I reject fear. I command action. I obey faith. Do not mumble them. Declare them. Do not whisper them. Engrave them. Say them twice daily, upon waking and before sleep, with emotion, with conviction, with decisiveness. Because repetition is the bridge between desire and result. This is not superstition. It is law. Your subconscious is the bridge to infinite intelligence. It draws upon power beyond the surface of your awareness. But that power can only be directed by definiteness, by repeated instruction backed by emotion. And if that instruction is delayed, the power goes dormant. I know this not by theory, but by trial. There was a season in my life when my plans were stalled, my manuscript unfinished, my faith low. I could not sell my message, I could not support my family, and it seemed all was lost. But I remembered the law, and I began to speak again. I wrote a new statement. I read it aloud. I repeated it with force, morning and night. Not because I saw evidence, but because I chose belief. And what followed in due time was a total reversal. The book was published. The audience appeared. The message ignited a generation. Not because the world changed, but because I changed the instruction I gave to my own mind. And now it is your turn. You must become the commander of your subconscious. You must stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting to be motivated. Stop waiting for the past to disappear. Begin feeding your inner world the thoughts that build your new outer world. Here is how you do it. Write your definite chief aim. Read it aloud morning and night. Speak it with emotion. Feel its truth as if already real. Let no day pass without feeding this command. You say you want success? Then stop waiting to believe in it. Start telling your mind it is inevitable. You say you want to rise? Then begin by rising in word. For no man ever lifted his circumstances without first lifting the language within himself. Let us now destroy the old script, the voice that said you're too old, too tired, too far gone. Let that voice be silenced by the new one you choose. My time is now. My pace is perfect. My action is immediate. My faith is unshakable. This is not emotional fluff. This is mental reprogramming. And if you will do it daily, as I have instructed, everything else will follow. First the belief, then the action, then the result. Let me show you how even your body responds to this law. A man who says, I am tired, begins to slump. His shoulders drop. His breath shortens. But a man who says, I am ready, lifts his chest. His breath deepens. His eyes sharpen. What happened? The command changed, and the body followed. Your finances will obey this law. Your relationships, your health, your creativity, your leadership. They all submit to the tone of your repeated thoughts. And if those thoughts have been drifting, scattered, or filled with regret, then so too will be your outcomes. But when those thoughts become disciplined, definite, and directed, so will your life. So now I command you, yes, command, write your new self-concept. Say it aloud. Act on it daily. Stop drifting. Start deciding. Replace every excuse with instruction. Replace every doubt with declaration. And let these final affirmations be your fire. I was never too late. I was too silent. I was never forgotten. I had forgotten myself. Now I remember. Now I rise. Now I act. Your subconscious is listening. What will you tell it? That it is too late? Or that today everything changes? Part 6. The stories of the giants who began late. You are not the first to feel delayed. You are not the first to watch others pass you, to see the world move while you wait. But let me make it plain. Timing is not given. It is declared. And history belongs not to those who started early, but to those who refused to stop when others said it was too late. Let us begin with a man named Abraham Lincoln. He failed in business, lost elections, suffered nervous collapse, and yet he continued. The world dismissed him. He looked like a man of defeat, but behind that appearance was definiteness of purpose. At past 50, he became President of the United States. He did not win because he was early. He won because he never allowed delay to break him. Now look at Henry Ford. He had 5 business failures before launching the Ford Motor Company. He was called foolish, dangerous, even criminal. But Ford was not listening to the world's timeline. He was listening to his own rhythm. He applied accurate thought. He applied faith. He persisted. And in time, the world conformed to his timing. Or take Thomas Edison. His first 1,000 experiments failed. The experts said he was wasting time. They said he should give up. But Edison knew that every trial was one step closer. He held a definite chief aim, and he believed even when all others mocked. What did that belief create? The electric light which rewrote the rhythm of civilization. Now listen to Charles M. Schwab. He began as a day laborer in the steel mills. No education, no wealth, no inheritance. But he studied men. He studied principles. He applied organized planning and personal initiative. And by applying what others ignored, he rose to build Bethlehem Steel. Not by being early, but by being undeniably prepared when his hour arrived. Let me give you another. Andrew Carnegie. A poor immigrant boy, worked in factories, had nothing but a dream. But he dared to think differently. He read books. He believed in the power of a mastermind alliance. And through that belief, he built an empire. Not quickly, not early, but with relentless discipline. Each of these men began late in the eyes of their world. But not one of them believed that lie. They believed in principle over pressure. They believed that infinite intelligence responds not to time, but to definiteness, faith, and action. Now I ask you, what excuse remains? What lie of age or delay can stand in the face of these lives? You have not failed, you have waited. But now the waiting must end. Because if you wait longer, the weight of regret will increase. And regret, once rooted, is the heaviest burden a man may bear. Let this truth strike you deeply. You are not late, you are chosen now. The hour you declare as your beginning becomes your beginning. It matters not that you did not act last year. It matters not that others appear ahead. What matters is that you choose today to become definite. Say this now: I am among the giants. I am not forgotten. I am chosen now. I do not compare timelines. I command my own. The hour I begin is the hour the world begins to shift around me. There is no law that says you must succeed early, but there is a law that says you must begin. There is no law that rewards delay, but there is a law that rewards definiteness backed by action. And every example I have given proves this truth. The world does not remember how long they waited. It remembers what they did once they moved. No one speaks of Edison's failures. They speak of the light. No one speaks of Lincoln's losses. They speak of his leadership. And so shall it be with you. Let this be the day you stop mourning lost time. Let this be the day you silence comparison. Let this be the day you remember that every delay was fertilizer for your fire. And that fire, if you feed it now, can burn through every barrier between you and the life you desire. You are not finished. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified. You are dangerous the moment you decide. Because a man who begins late and refuses to quit is more dangerous than the man who began early and became comfortable. Now choose your story. Will you end in silence, or will you rise with those who refuse to bow to the calendar? Will you join the drifting masses, or will you declare, "My time is now"? Because what follows next is the final lie we must destroy, the belief that there is such a thing as too late. Part 7. The only timeline that matters is the one you create. You have been lied to. The world told you there is a fixed schedule for success, that by a certain age you must become, that by a certain year you must arrive. But I tell you, there is no divine calendar you must match, only a decision you must make. And the moment you make it, the hour is right on time. Infinite intelligence does not respond to clocks. It does not reward early starters. It rewards definite starters. You do not receive based on how long you've waited. You receive based on how clearly you have decided. The man who begins with full faith this moment will outpace the man who has wandered for years. The mind is the master of time. It can accelerate belief. It can compress delay. It can multiply results, but only when it is governed by a definite chief aim. Without that, time is wasted. With it, time is your servant. You do not need more days. You need more decision in the days you already have. Most men measure their progress by the speed of others, but that is the path to ruin. The man who looks sideways cannot see forward. The man who chases the pace of others abandons his own. And the man who fears being late forgets that he has the power to define what on time even means. You must remember, the world you want cannot appear until you command it, and you cannot command it with doubt. You cannot command it while looking over your shoulder. You cannot command it if your definition of success is based on someone else's direction. Ask yourself, whose voice are you obeying? Is it the voice of infinite intelligence, or the voice of panic from the crowd? Is it the voice of inner certainty, or the voice of outer pressure? The one you listen to determines the rhythm you live by. I tell you, the most powerful act you can take today is to say, from this day forward, I move at the speed of my decision. From this day forward, my timeline is mine alone. What I build is not late. It is divinely timed to meet my belief. You must declare your own season. You must set your own standard. And you must know without apology or hesitation that your vision will not fail so long as your obedience to it does not fail. Let me give you a tool for this declaration. I call it the invisible counselor's technique. Each night before sleep, sit quietly and imagine yourself at a table with the greats, Lincoln, Edison, Ford, Carnegie, Rockefeller. Tell them your aim. Tell them your struggle. Tell them your next move. And then listen, not with your ears, but with your spirit. And what will rise in your heart is not panic, but power, not comparison, but conviction. You will begin to realize that these men were not bound by time. They were bound by belief. And belief, not age, created their success. Do not underestimate the power of emotional intensity. The man who moves with fire will bend the calendar. He will compress what should take years into months. He will move mountains that others only talk about climbing. Because fire obeys no clock. The only reason you feel behind is because you measured your life by standards you never chose. But today, you reclaim that authority. Today, you set your own law. And the law is this: what I begin today, I finish with honor. And what I finish with honor arrives on time. Say these words now. My time is now because I have decided it is. I choose my hour. I command my pace. I am never behind when I walk in purpose. The world will tell you to slow down, or to catch up, or to wait your turn. But the world is drifting, and the drifter cannot teach the definite. You are not of the drift. You are of the decision. You are not of fear. You are of faith multiplied by action. So I ask you, will you obey the voice of delay or the voice of destiny? Will you continue to measure yourself by the calendar or by the intensity of your commitment? If you have not yet done so, write your personal declaration tonight. And do not write what sounds noble. Write what ignites you. Write it with fire. Then commit to 1 act per day in its direction. Not 100 acts, not a perfect plan. 1 act of obedience daily. This rhythm practiced daily will do more for your life in 90 days than panic and comparison have done in 9 years. Because consistency backed by belief is the true timeline of greatness. Let this part settle deep into your spirit. You are not behind. You are now ahead of everyone who waits. You are now ahead of every version of yourself who doubted. You are now ahead because you chose to become definite while others continue to drift. What remains now is only action. The final barrier between you and what you were born for is movement. Part 8, begin with 1 command and keep it daily. You have waited long enough. You have doubted long enough. You have rehearsed excuses in the privacy of your own mind for so many years, they have become prayers. But today, those prayers must change, because every man reaches a moment when he must stop thinking, stop planning, and command his mind to move. This is not about motivation. This is not about inspiration. This is about obedience to your own purpose. Until now, you have obeyed fear. You have obeyed habit. You have obeyed the voice that said, maybe not today. That obedience has cost you years, but you must now switch allegiance from drift to decision, from delay to dominion. You are not confused. You are not unsure. You are simply undisciplined in repetition. What you know intellectually has never been spoken daily with conviction. You have not given your mind the same order twice for more than a week. And what is not repeated is not believed. You are not behind because life is unfair. You are behind because you have not issued the same command long enough for it to take hold in your spirit. You begin, you hope, you feel, you retreat, you doubt, and the cycle continues. But a man who commands the same truth daily builds a foundation that time cannot shake. This is your new truth. 1 command, daily, without negotiation, without emotion, without asking the weather of your feelings. It is spoken. It is obeyed. It is done. You say you are tired of starting over? Then stop breaking your own rhythm. Stop beginning with emotion and quitting with reason. Stop building halfway homes for the man you were born to become. Stand up and finish what you started daily. What follows is the structure you will now live by. Not for a day, not for a week, for as long as it takes. Because the man who holds his command long enough will command his entire life. The new law of daily dominion. 1. Write your definite chief aim on paper. Not on a screen, not in a vague idea. Write it with ink, with fire, with absolute clarity. Let there be no ambiguity. Let it burn into the page as if you are signing your spiritual contract with infinite intelligence. 2, read it aloud, twice daily, morning and evening, with belief, not boredom, with intention, not repetition. Each reading is a forging, each word a hammer striking your subconscious. Each time you speak it, you are proving that you have decided. 3, feel the emotion of its truth. You must not merely read your aim. You must see yourself as already having achieved it. Hear the voice of others congratulating you. Feel the texture of success. Taste it. Smell the new life. Emotion is the flame that brands the subconscious. 4th act, every day, on 1 part of that aim. Not 100 tasks, not perfection. 1 act of obedience. Make the call, study the page, do the push-up, launch the letter, walk toward the unknown. Let the movement prove the belief. And where there is belief, there is no room for delay. 5. Do not adjust the goal. Adjust your attention. You do not need a new aim. You need a renewed allegiance to your existing one. Let no week pass where you redefine your direction. A man who changes course too often never arrives. Let your goals stay fixed. Let your daily obedience become flexible. 6, track your days, not your feelings. Did you repeat your aim today? Did you act on it today? Did you obey the command, even when you were tired? These are the questions that build success. Not, did I feel motivated? Feelings are drifters. Decisions are builders. 7, refuse negotiation with the past. You must wake up each morning as if no time has been lost, because dwelling on delay is its own delay. The man who keeps score with regret becomes paralyzed. Let the scoreboard be erased. Begin as if today is the first and only chance. 8, end your day with declaration. Before you sleep, speak your identity. I am the man who obeys. I am the man who persists. I am the man who finishes. Let these be the final words your subconscious hears before night claims the senses. It will prepare the soul to wake with fire. This rhythm is your law now, not suggestion, law. And what you obey daily becomes your identity, not your past, not your surroundings, not the comparison you've been poisoned by. Only the law you live by decides your next chapter. And if you fail one day, do not collapse. Do not fall into the pit of pity. Begin again. Speak again. Act again. Because the man who recommits faster than he drifts wins. Now let me tell you what will happen if you live by this structure. Your confidence will grow, not because someone praises you, but because your own voice becomes believable. You will no longer apologize when you speak your goal. You will speak it with authority. Your posture will rise. Your step will sharpen. You will see yourself as the man you were born to become. Your finances will improve, not because of magic, but because you are no longer scattered. You will move toward the money with focus. You will see opportunity where others only see obstacles. Why? Because the man of definiteness attracts clarity. Your family will feel it. Your children will rise in their seats when you enter the room. Not because you are louder, but because you are more present. You will no longer carry the shame of delay. You will carry the weight of decision. And here is the final gift: peace. The peace that comes not from comfort, but from control. You will no longer be at war with the clock. You will no longer fear birthdays, timelines, or late starts. You will move each day with the calm of a man who knows he is no longer behind. Say these words: I was never behind. I was undirected. But now I obey my aim daily. I rise by rhythm. I walk by command. I lead my mind with words of fire. I do not quit. I do not rethink. I do not beg the past to return. I live forward, and I do so daily. And one final command I give you: do not wait for another day of certainty. Begin now, not next week, not after the doubt fades. Now, your transformation does not begin when the world claps. It begins when you speak the command and you act as if nothing could stop you, because nothing can. And if you ever feel tempted to return to the life of drift, regret, and comparison, play this again. Let these words find you. Let the structure remind you. Let the repetition retrain you. Because the man who gives himself one definite command a day and keeps it will rule the world he once feared. This is the day you begin. This is the hour you obey. Your life begins when you move and not a second before. Now rise, decide, act, and stay definite. You are no longer behind. You are ahead of your former self, and that is enough to win.